Hi guys, today we're going to talk about how to grow lettuce in containers. As long as you live somewhere that gets some cool weather sometime during the year, then you can grow lettuce. And by cool weather, I mean daytime temperatures in the 50s and 60s, even the low 70s. In some areas that might happen during the winter time. I live in southern Ohio, and during the springtime I like to plant my lettuce at least a month before my average last frost date. Sometimes earlier. It really just depends on what the weather is doing that particular year. I have grown lettuce in the ground before, but I do have a strong preference for growing lettuce in pots. I can keep a closer eye on them when they're planted in a pot right outside my back door. When it's hot, you can move them out of the sunlight and into a shadier area so they won't bolt and go to seed as fast. And my number one reason for growing them in pots is I have seen a huge reduction in slugs getting onto my lettuce. You can plant your lettuce in any size pot. The roots are very shallow, so a small pot is fine, but just keep in mind if you use small pots, you will have to water your plants more because small containers do dry out faster than large containers. Lettuce grows from seed to harvest time very quickly. So you will not have to use fertilizer on your plants if you start with a brand new package of potting mix that has added fertilizers in it already. Sometimes I use old potting soil from the previous year, and when I do that, I do add some granular fertilizer to that potting soil and usually some blood meal because lettuce really appreciates the nitrogen in the blood meal, and it helps them to grow nice leafy green foliage. I usually start some of my plants indoors under the grow lights. I always start them in peat pots or something really small like that and then plant them into my pots. When I do it that way, I space them out a little bit. That way each plant can grow kind of bushy, and this is what they look like when you do it that way. Another way that I like to plant them is to just direct sow the seeds into my pot. I don't worry about the spacing. I just scatter the seeds all over the soil surface. The plants don't get as bushy like this, but it fills in your pot really nicely. And this is what it looks like when you do it that way. When it's time to harvest the lettuce, you can either take the whole plant out, or you can just cut off a few leaves off of each plant and leave the center of the plant to grow. Once it starts to get hot outside, your lettuce is going to grow really tall and start to flower, and it bolts. At this point, the lettuce is bitter and you might not want to eat it. Lettuce is such an easy crop to grow, and it tastes better than almost any of the lettuce that you can get at the grocery store. As I said before, the key is to plant it during cool weather. Don't plant it out in the middle of the summer unless you live somewhere really cool. And if you haven't grown it before, I hope you'll try it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.